What's up guys, Shawn from Eating Protein here. Today we're going to talk about foot positions on the leg press, okay? Now there's a whole bunch of different ways we can place our feet, right, to target different areas of the upper thigh, okay? And we're talking about the leg press here. So generally speaking, the higher we put our feet on the pad, right, the more hamstring we're going to hit, right? The lower we put our feet on the pad, right, the more quadricep we're going to hit. So you'll be strongest in the middle of the leg press, okay? Because that's going to recruit, not them both equally, but you'll get the most kind of power output right in the middle center, okay? So if you're doing a set where, you know, the weight's high, right, and you want to get those reps out and you want to be strong, you know, you put your feet in the middle, right? But for guys that are looking for some symmetry in their legs, or girls rather, for some symmetry in their legs, where we're gonna teach you how to put the leg press into either more of the quad or the hamstring. Okay, so I'm gonna have a seat on my leg press here. You're gonna watch the angle of my knee to start here, okay? So I'm gonna put my feet low on the leg press. Okay, so this is gonna drive more into my quad, okay? And here's why, right? So we're gonna see that as I drive my feet lower on the pad, I'll be increasing the angle of flexion in my knee, okay? Right, so the more range of motion I get in my knee joint here, right, the more quad I'm gonna get. Remember, because the function of the quad is extension of the knee, right? So I'm gonna come all the way down here, right? You'll see I'm gonna get nice and deep, right until my butt is just about to come off the pad, okay? But it's not off the pad, right? Then I'm gonna come all the way back up, right? You can see I got a lot of range of motion in the knee there, right? So again, I'm gonna come all the way down and all the way up, okay? So I'm coming just as deep as I can so my butt doesn't come up off the pad, right? Because we want to keep that curvature in the spine, okay? That's the most important, right? The minute my butt comes up off the pad, right, that puts my back in a risky position, okay? When you load the leg press up like a lot of people do, right, you don't want to put a lot of weight in that lower back. Okay, so now if we're looking in the opposite direction, I'm gonna rack my leg press here. I'm gonna put my feet a little higher on the pad. Right, so now you're gonna see on my way down, right, if you watch my knee joint, I'm not gonna have as much range of motion in the knee joint, right, but I'm gonna have more range of motion in my femur, right? So when we're talking about hamstrings here, we're talking about hip extension, right? So now I'm gonna focus on moving to my femur, right? So I'm gonna come up, right? So now you're gonna see I'm gonna come all the way back, right? And now my knee is gonna draw toward my body a little more, right? Now I'm gonna focus on pushing my femur kind of away from me, squeezing my ham and my glute. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna squeeze and up. Hard. Okay, so now you're gonna see on the first one with my feet low, right, we focused on the knee and the push, right, pushing the machine away from you. Here we're worried about pushing the femur away from me, right? So I'm gonna come all the way down. Right now I'm gonna worry about just the upper thigh going this way, squeezing hard through the hamstrings and the glutes. Okay, now we can also talk about width, right? So the wider I go, right, the more kind of the lateral part of my leg I'm gonna hit, right? The more narrow I go, more medial part of my leg I'm gonna hit. Okay, I can also do a duck stance, right? We want to hit a little bit more outer thigh, right, or vastus lateralis and the quad. But again, there's a whole bunch of little tricks that we can do in another video. But just for the generality of things, we wanted to talk about, right, the main things, right? So the higher you go, the more ham, right? The lower you go, the more quad you're gonna hit, right? There'll be more videos to come on some duck stances, some wide stances, some narrow stances, a whole bunch of stances.